Story of Saints John Fisher and Thomas More, martyrs for conscience and faith in the early 1500s. England stood at the edge of a great upheaval. The reigning monarch, King Henry VIII, desired to divorce his wife, Queen Catherine of Aragon, and marry Anne Boleyn. When the Pope refused to annul the marriage, Henry broke from the Catholic Church and declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England. This bold move demanded loyalty, but not all would comply. Among those who stood firm in their faith and conscience were St. John Fisher and St. Thomas More, two brilliant, devout men who loved God more than the king's favor or even their own lives. St. John Fisher was a bishop and scholar, the only bishop in England who openly opposed King Henry's divorce. A man of deep prayer and learning, Fisher was revered across Europe. He spoke out boldly against the king's claims to spiritual authority and refused to recognize him as head of the church. Because of his loyalty to the Pope and the teachings of the church, Fisher was arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London. In 1535, he was beheaded for treason. Just days before his execution, Pope Paul III named him a cardinal, but Henry forbade the cardinal's hat to enter England, saying mockingly, "Let the Pope send it. Fisher shall have no head to wear it." St. Thomas More, a lawyer, author, and former Chancellor of England, had once been a close friend and advisor to Henry VIII. But when asked to take an oath recognizing the king as head of the church and legitimizing his marriage to Anne Boleyn, More quietly refused. He resigned from public office and tried to live in peace, but the king demanded full allegiance. Thomas was arrested and placed in the Tower, though he remained silent. Refusing to speak against the king, his refusal to swear the oath was taken as treason. Before his death, he declared, "I die the king's good servant, but God's first." He was beheaded on July 6, 1535. Though different in role, one a bishop, the other a layman, they were united in faith, integrity, and courage. Their martyrdom became a shining example of standing for truth even when the cost is great. Saints John Fisher and Thomas More were canonized together by Pope Pius XI in 1935, 400 years after their deaths. They are honored as defenders of conscience, champions of the Church, and witnesses to the truth that no earthly power should ever come before God. Their legacy continues to inspire all who seek to follow conscience, even in the face of pressure or persecution.